Hey guys, so today we're gonna have a little bit of girl talk, and we're gonna talk about some feminine hygiene tips that every woman needs to know. Now, I did a video like this about a year ago. But since then, I've got a couple more tips that I want to tell you guys. But I do have a couple more tips and tricks that I want to share. First of all, I just want to let y'all know that I'm going to keep it real, okay? I'm going to keep it really real, okay? Because we all know, as women, we all deal with different feminine hygiene issues, whether that be your pH balance, yeast infections, menstrual cycles. We got a lot going on down there, and some people just honestly don't know this stuff. They haven't learned this stuff. Their parents didn't teach them this stuff on how to take care of their bodies down there. I had to learn all this stuff on my own. My mom didn't teach me none of this stuff. I literally had to do my own research and figure all this out. So that's why I make this video, so y'all can have a resource. Thank God for Google. Tip number one is your cookies down there are not supposed to smell like roses and daisies, okay? Stop putting the scented soap down there. It's not supposed to be there, okay? Honestly, you're not supposed to put soap anywhere down there. Like, yeah, like around the area, but you're not supposed to be down there scrubbing all hard, you know, with your little loofah and your little strawberry scented soap. That will do more harm than good. Either you're gonna get the Dove unscented soap or use no soap at all, because yeah, the soap can really throw off your pH balance, you guys. So if you're having issues with your pH balance, that's the first place to start, is use a unscented soap, or just rinse it with water. Really, your vagina cleans itself. You don't have to do all the extra stuff. You don't have to use douche. You don't have to put soap up there, all this crazy. You don't need none of that, guys. It is a self-cleaning oven if you do what you're supposed to do with it. So, while we're talking about pH balance, I'm going to give you guys some tips on how to manage your pH balance. The vagina has its own pH balance than the rest of the body. Your vagina is going to be more of an acidic pH. And a lot of different things can throw off your pH balance. And when that happens, that's when things like the smells and the odor and the excess discharge start, is when you throw off your pH balance. Now, lots of things can throw it off. Your soap, different sexual partners. Honestly, if the guy you're dating, or if the guy you're being physical with, if he has like certain bacteria on his thing and he's putting his thing up in you unprotected, now that stuff is in you and that's throwing off your pH balance. So one thing that's very important is, if you have a consistent partner, like if you have sex with the same person all the time, make sure that person is taking care of their private parts too, because their private parts, if they're not practicing hygiene, it can mess you up. And that's going to be however long you're with that person, you're gonna keep having issues with that unless they start taking care of them. So yeah, different sexual partners can throw it off. The foods you eat can throw it off. Man, so much stuff can throw your pH balance off. I suffer from my pH balance getting thrown off all the time. So the way that I make sure that my pH balance stays intact is I take daily probiotics every single day. Like, honestly, if I don't take probiotics every day, like after 2 or 3 days, I already see a difference. So I take probiotics every single day. And also, every probiotic is not created equal, guys. Make sure you're getting a probiotic that at least is 50 billion. On the bottle it says 50 billion. Also, make sure you get some that's specifically for vaginal health, because there are so many different types and strains of probiotics, but there are certain probiotics that work really well for feminine hygiene. So make sure you're getting one that's for your feminine hygiene. And it usually say it on the box. It usually say like feminine health or vaginal health or something like that. Another thing that I just started using, well, I ain't gonna say just, it's been maybe like a year or so that I found this out, but boric acid suppositories. Boric acid suppositories will pretty much wipe out, like, it'll fix you in like a day. Like, if you're having an issue where, you know, you feel a yeast infection coming on, or you just don't feel right down there, you can pop in a boric acid suppository up your hoo-ha and just leave it in there overnight, and I promise y'all the next day it's gonna be feeling like great. It's gonna, like, it'll knock it out in like a day or two. And I just found those out. So, and that'll save you a lot of headache. The only thing with boric acid suppositories is it's really hard to find them in stores. I have to always order mine online. So if you want to order it, I'll leave the link to the one that I use. Now, I don't use boric acid suppositories like all the time. I really only use it maybe every couple of months, just to kind of make sure everything down there is a-okay. Just because I know my pH balance gets thrown out of whack all the time, I'll pop one in there, like, just as kind of like a maintenance type of thing. But if you do have like a flare up, it'll definitely like knock it out in like a day or two. And while we're talking about yeast infections, let's talk about how the way that doctors treat yeast infections is so not helpful. Like, any lady out there who's ever had a yeast infection, and probably if you haven't had one yet, you probably will have at least one in your lifetime. But if you ever had a yeast infection and you've been to the doctor, you know what I'm talking about. So when you have a yeast infection, you go to your doctor, right? You go to your OBGYN. They give you some antibiotics. Okay, so you take the antibiotics, in a couple of days, yeast infection is gone, and you're like, okay, life is great again, yeast infection is gone. But then, like, maybe a couple weeks later, maybe even a couple months, it comes back. So guess what? You go back to the doctor, they give you more antibiotics, and you're feeling great 3 days later, and then a couple weeks down the line, oh, another yeast infection. So it's like, what is going on? Why? I thought the antibiotics were supposed to cure it. Why does it keep coming back? I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do. I'm not putting soap down there. I'm taking probiotics, I'm doing this. What's going on? I'll tell you what's going on. So after doing research, I found out that antibiotics are like the worst thing you can do to your vagina. Like, literally. Like, honestly. So here's the thing. Your first yeast infection, yeah, you definitely want to probably take some antibiotics. But what they don't tell you is that you need to be also taking probiotics along with the antibiotics, because with antibiotics it wipes out all the bacteria down there, not just the bad bacteria. So you're knocking out the good and the bad. So that means, like, when everything clears up, now you don't have any good bacteria to keep your flora, where it's supposed to be. So then it flares up again because all the bad bacteria comes back in full force. So, but the OBGYNs, they never told me this. Like, I probably like had back-to-back yeast infections like 2 to 3 times until I was like, what the heck is going on? Why is this like all out of whack? I had to do my own research and I found this out. So after doing my own research, I started taking the probiotics. I found some probiotics that work for me, and since then have not had a yeast infection. Like, over-the-counter stuff I could find at the drugstore, at the supplement store, I take those over the counter every day. Never had another issue with a yeast infection. However, I went to the doctor 2 to 3 times for the same issue. None of them ever told me this. Not one doctor ever said, hey, maybe you should take probiotics. None of them. And it makes me really like lose faith in the health system. Like, it really does. Because you mean to tell me instead of paying for it, instead of coming to y'all and getting a doctor bill, that I could have just went to the store and bought probiotics and boric acid suppositories over the counter for like $15? Like, so anyways, y'all, if this is you, if you're struggling with this, if I'm describing your experience, just go to the store and get you some probiotics and everything gonna be fine. Okay. Another thing that really helps down there is taking apple cider vinegar baths. So apple cider vinegar has almost the same kind of pH as our vagina. So actually taking an apple cider vinegar bath helps restore our pH. So every now and then it's good to just add a little bit of apple cider vinegar to your bath and just soak and just let your vagina like do its thing. It also can help with relief as far as like if you ever have any itching down there, like if you're waiting for the probiotics to kick in, it'll actually help with like itching and irritation as well. I'm gonna be really real with y'all for this next tip. But if you are putting things in your anal cavity and then putting them in your vagina, that is really bad for your vagina, okay? For obvious reasons, okay? if you, trust me, that will have you with the worst. I've never had this issue before, but I've heard people who've had this issue, but that will give you the worst yeast infection of your life. If you put in stuff, whether that be fingers, toys, a penis, whatever it is going up there, and you put it in there without washing it off first, I'm telling you, girl, you just in for it, girl. So don't do it. Do not do it. If y'all into that stuff, if you do that, make sure like once it go up behind you, that he don't put it nowhere else. Like that should be y'all done for the night once he put it up there. I'm just being real with you. Just to keep her flowing right. Just trust me. Trust me. So another obvious one is do not wear anything other than cotton underwear. I know Victoria's Secret has all these nice, sexy underwear, and guys always want us to wear the nice, sexy lace underwear all the time, and thongs all the time. And honestly, wearing thongs a lot, that'll throw off your pH. And then wearing synthetic material will also throw off your pH, because synthetic material doesn't breathe. So if you are someone who wears really, you know, if you're someone who wears synthetic underwear all the time, or you wear thongs all the time, you might want to just kind of relax on that a little bit, or only wear the, you know, wear the lacy stuff when you know your boyfriend's coming over. But honestly, like the best thing I could have did was to just wear cotton underwear. Now I don't even buy it. If it ain't cotton, I don't even wear it. Like I might wear, if I do feel like wearing some sexy lingerie, you know, of course when you wear lingerie, you're not wearing it all day. It's like kind of, you know, you wear it for about 30 minutes and then it's off. But you know, other than that though, all my underwear is cotton. I don't play that. I do not play. One last tip, ingrown hairs when it comes to your vagina, all right? So I used to struggle a lot with ingrown hairs. I had that really, really curly hair that gets like it's really bad ingrown hairs. I didn't know how to manage it, okay? I learned how to manage it, and what I learned was the same ingredient that's in your face wash, that's like acne wash, like salicylic acid or benzoyl peroxide, something like that. That same ingredient actually helps with ingrown hairs. So I started to use my face wash down there, and I actually will, you know, and actually exfoliating down there too helps that as well. So I started exfoliating and using that down there, you know, every now and then, and I don't have any issues with ingrown hairs anymore. However, I'm still trying to figure out how to get rid of the ingrown hair scars. However, if y'all know how to get rid of that, you let me know. But yeah, if you suffer with ingrown hairs, start using that. Also, the same shaving cream that my fiance uses for his head when he shaves his head to prevent ingrown hairs, I used that on my vagina one time when I shaved my bikini area, and it actually I realized that I didn't have like any ingrown hairs after that, and I was like, oh, maybe that works for that hair too. So he bought me my own bump control. It's called bump control or something, and I use that to shave my bikini area, and I think that's helping out a lot, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something. I know I kept it really real because I mean, I'm trying to help you guys, because honestly I wish I had somebody to tell me this when I was like 20 years old. I really wish that this type of stuff existed, but it didn't. I had to just do a whole lot of Googling. So I hope I helped you guys out. And make sure you tune in for the next video. Subscribe, like, comment down below, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye guys.